Welcome to
Stays Crunchy and Milk.
If you have any questions or comments, we have multiple ways we can be reached.
Around?
That is one of the ways. Twitter is, of course, the best way for those of you that need instant gratification in this millennial-based world. And of course, the show's Twitter feed is at Skimpod. That's Skimpod. For the more patient amongst you, which is none of us, let's be honest, the email address for the show is podcast@stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Crunchy again, being spelled with a K. We're also available via Apple Podcast, something I've never heard of, Stitcher Radio. Are any of you still using that shit? TuneIn Radio, whatever the fuck that is, I couldn't tell you. Google Play, I've heard of that. I don't use it, but if you do, thank you. Spotify, now that one I use, so find us on there. I know we're on there. And of course, at the website, stayscrunchyandmilk.com. Now I ask that you please rate, review, subscribe, and share the show, because honestly, I don't do that shit. And I need someone to pick up my slack. Now, I hear that there is a group of people here that collectively discuss music, and they provide for you, yes you, a pod called Cast. It's a musical discussion show built on a hip-hop foundation, which seems to be what makes the musical world turn these days, and I hear it's pretty swell. Our personal Twitters are Tatum216, Lunchbox2099, The Real ODP, and your host, Internet's Tasty Tayrell713. Argument. Well, not argument, discussion.
I don't think we were arguing.
Yeah, there was no animosity there, but it was a healthy adult discussion.
Yeah.
Which I think talking about it on here will help some clarity on it.
I'll think of something by then.
Yo, look at all these scavengers. All wanna be contenders, dismember, whack niggas I intend ya. Y'all ain't shit but sticky shit on the bottom of timber lands. I know your clanmates wanna surrender. Don't even act like a battlefield, the place you wanna enter. You niggas is hopeless. You really need to focus on who's the fucking dopest or wind up hopeless.
That was really nice. Was that Pitbull? Dollar.
That is Dice Raw.
I feel like I was real close with that one.
Pitbull, Dice Raw. You know what I'm saying?
They both had 2 syllables.
Maybe in the future you'll hear more about that particular song. I got some things I got popping in my head, man. We are working on some things here, but this is Stays Crunchy and Milk. We do it every week.
Call it the tried and true.
And we back in this bitch once again in the comfy confines of Dan's Basement Studios. I truly enjoy recording here because it is so very well insulated, and I don't have the background of people yelling, "Dan, get your soup!" Man, I went down there to get soup the other day, and the manager of that bitch, somebody was trying to pour a bowl of soup before it was ready. And she's like, "That soup has to be 165, 165. It's not 165 yet. It's not ready. Don't say it's ready." Oh, she just went the fuck off on it. And the girl just walked away like, "Okay, bitch, you want to be yelling about soup? Really? Okay." and the one girl gave, "Here you go, Mr. Wilson," and gave me my bag, and I was like, "I will holler at y'all next time." It's just like Homer Simpson out that bitch because it was real uncomfortable.
I like though that we go in there every week to do the show, and because I've worked overtime. There's been a few times in the last month where I didn't pack a lunch, for whatever reason. So I would do an online order and go down there. That the fact that now they've kind of started to learn my name.
Yeah,
that was how I felt today when my new crush was calling me by my name, and I was just it hit me like, "Oh, you know my name? I didn't even tell you my name." I gave her a nickname too. Trainer Bay. Throw it back to old Teacher Bay.
I mean, she technically is a teacher of
I know, but I didn't. But there was already a Teacher.
There's already
Bay.
a Teacher Bay.
Yeah, so I had to go with Trainer Bay.
All right. That's cool. It's cool. Well, it's good to know the. I don't know. So I like every now and again that there's something flutters your cockles, your heart, but you go, "Oh, you got me thinking."
It's nice to be reminded that there are other fish in the sea. For real.
It's oh, yo, it's, we got Lunchbox 2099.
Oh, yeah.
I think you heard that. Plus, we're in his house. It'd be weird if I was in his house recording without him.
I'd be cool with it, though.
I'm sure you would.
I offered Anthony a spare key the other day so he could have this as a squat house.
Nice. Just show through, like, I'm just going to be here, man.
Yeah.
I'll be in the basement watching the Irishman. That's the real ODP.
I gotta say, He's really good at that intro, Taro 713. But when you consider his dark skin with a dark mic and with a dark uniform, it's you can't see that thing.
I am the Internet Star 713. I'm your host.
Man,
we in this bitch.
Gabe's been suspended from this podcast.
I'd like to apologize for my choice of words, trying to describe the conditions of the podcast.
Oh my god. Bruh.
I like the defenders. They're like, well, what's he saying that's not factually correct? Like,
Man, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of buddies, and then there's like some other dude in the chat that I don't really know.
Yeah.
He's like a friend of a friend kind of deal. And there was a discussion going on today about like Michael Vick came up for some reason, and they were like, "Are you all have you all forgiven him?" And it was like kind of like a morality type of question. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really want to go down the Michael Vick road again.
Yeah.
So I just kind of was like, I recused myself from it. I was like, I've moved on. And that was like, I left, like, I didn't leave the chat, but I, didn't participate going forward.
Yeah.
But then, I did kind of dip my toe back in at one point when they were talking about how shitty fans are because they'll let shit slide based on a player's performance. And, right around that time, I was just like, the guy who said this has Kareem Hunt on his fantasy team. So I wrote back into the chat, Kareem Hunt had a great game last week. And then that kind of went over everybody. And then the one guy goes something to the effect of, it'd be like if Andy Dalton slapped his girlfriend and then Lamar Jackson slapped his girlfriend. People would be yelling, Andy Dalton, lock him up. But with Lamar Jackson, what happened in the scenario that made him do that, kind of like wait and see. And the one dude's like, why did you have to make this about race?
What?
And I'm like, that wasn't about race. That was about one QB who is shitty and another QB who's like one of the best QBs in the league. It had nothing to do with the fact that Andy Dalton's white and Lamar Jackson's black. It had everything to do with the fact that Andy Dalton sucks and Lamar Jackson's really good.
No. But apparently, Lamar Jackson being really good has everything to do with his race and his ability to disappear in the back.
That was my thing. Was like
some ninja football.
Well, my whole thing was I'm like, race wasn't even a part of that,
yeah.
And your mind just immediately went there, and I'm like, what does that say about you, and what does that say about me? Because that's not how I looked at it. I went shitty quarterback, good quarterback. You went white black, and I'm like, that's fucked up. That that's how some of our minds. And I feel like, I'll be honest, doing this show with you guys now for fucking almost 7 years at this point,
damn,
probably has helped me in that regard. It'd be like a couple weeks back, I heard someone say to an Asian fellow, "Hey, Mr. Miyagi," and I immediately went. Whereas probably 10 years ago, I would have been like, "That's a funny correlation." So yeah, maybe I'm matured. I'm a little more woke, as they say. So, yay, aging and having a varied circle of friends.
Nothing wrong with wisdom, and again, a very, very that varied circle of friendship. We talked about it, man. It matters. So Vanessa's looking at the YouTube page, and I'm explaining the episodes, and she goes, "Why is there a butthole in the episode?" And I go, okay, let me explain this to you. I was discussing how I didn't want to go to that party and how I didn't want to be up your butt and ruining your good time. She goes, no, you'd be fine. I go, I know you said I'd be fine. I go, but I didn't want to be up your butt. But then they said that you would have certain butt obligation, a bit of a butt obligation. That's why the title of that episode is a bit of a butt obligation. And I'm like, I don't like being the only black guy at them motherfucking parties. And she goes, oh, okay. And then it's like, rings her bell and she finally gets it, I think. But yeah, a diverse circle of friends, people, get you some.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about it, I know, I have my Cambodian buddy, I've got a bunch of Puerto Rican buddies, I've got some black friends, I've got some white friends, I even mix genders. I've got some female friends, male friends, some people who became others that I've been cordial with at times. I'm sure there's others that at the moment I mean, I guess you can even toss in like mental illnesses and various anxieties and stuff. I've got a wide spectrum.
And what that does is it gives you an empathy to their situation if you truly, for those you truly consider a friend. And because you have that, you'd be like, Mr. Miyagi, what the fuck, bitch? That was not cool. It offended you. It offended you because you were offended for that person. You have empathy. And now you embody that. That's all everybody want. They want you to be empathetic for their position and their situation. That's all any of us want. We want you to be like, think of how this makes us feel. This UPS shit today had me all fucked up. UPS had to say thank you to them cops for killing one of their employees because that's the society we live in.
Fuck.
Because they had to put.
Family feels about that, like.
Oh, the gentleman who died, sister was out there like, fuck them cops, fuck all of this, and so forth and so on.
Well, I mean, of course, your family members that was kind of a stupid statement on the surface. I'm like, specifically, how does it feel like about to hear the UPS thanking the cops for that situation?
How about some backstory for those of us who have no fucking clue?
A UPS driver was hijacked down in Florida. Two guys took his truck and him hostage. Police in Florida shot up the UPS truck, killing the perpetrators as well as the hostage, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, another bystander. The entire time they were using civilians and civilian vehicles for cover. The cops were, ducking and dodging behind people in people's cars, while they took aim at this UPS truck and and killed that man. They didn't try anything. They didn't try to negotiate. They didn't try to do anything. They instead just lit that motherfucker up.
Sounds like they were cops in a video game or something.
It's like they thought they was playing Narc or something. It was just whatever. And so, an innocent man who was just out doing his job, who was already in a fucked up situation because, he gets hijacked, these thieves are, trying to take an entire truck of, I don't know, whatever. It goes from him being, possibly, I don't know. It just upset me. I have empathy for this person, this family that lost their son, their brother, their provider, their everything, and it bothers me that we just let that shit go. And they will. Like, literally, the company that man worked for had to issue a statement basically taking the responsibility off the cops' shoulders. Because that's the country we live in. We vacillate. We have to fucking be... Vacillate's not the word I wanted right there. We have to bow down to military and police in this country. That's because if we're not American. And they had to do that. And it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks they couldn't come out and be like, it's fucked up these motherfuckers went buck wild, firing on his truck and ended up killing one of our employees because they want to be fucking on some old heroic bullshit. It's just unnecessary. It's not how anybody would do these things. It's not how hostage situations are ever to be taken, addressed. It's fucked up.
I mean, it's still a lot because I go to the dark parts of Twitter.
Yeah. Irony.
That's probably why I didn't know about this, because I haven't been on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I know that people still call Obama the most anti-cop president we ever had, and I can't for the life of me think of one thing he said that was anti-cop. What he said that was anti-cop? Anything that's no.
This is not what this discussion is about. Don't get mad.
I know I'm getting upset.
What I'm saying is, I know having a diverse set of friends.
Okay, empathy. That's what we're talking about.
Of all everything has helped me develop a better worldview, outlook on everything. You know what I'm saying? I not to be like I got Muslim friends, but indeed I did come up with some cats, who's raised Islam. And because of that, I never looked at people like that regard, even after, the world went crazy, as terrorists. They never seemed like terrorists to me. That was just my homie. We called him Habib, and that's disrespectful as fuck, but he rode with that name because he liked that name after we gave it to him. It was fucked up that we called that dude Habib because we did that shit based on some fucking, stereotype shit. His name was Abdul, or is Abdul. We should have fucking just called him by his fucking name. But then he liked it because he was a street nigga, and he just liked being like, I like having a fucking alias. And I'm like, all right, then Habib it is. You've decided to roll with that shit. But I understand. But also, I don't know that was fucked up for us to call him some fucked up, jacked up ass name like that. Without it being, for it not being his name and us basically calling him that basically on some stereotype shit. I know why we called him that shit, and it wasn't based in whatever. But like I said, just knowing that dude and his brothers, his mom, his sister, and shit like that there, gave me an insight that turns out I needed when the world went crazy. I was like, no, all Muslim people ain't on that shit. Most Muslim people ain't on that shit. The fuck is y'all talking about?
I think for me, it helps that, like, I don't really give a shit what other people believe and what they do.
Yeah.
So that's why I can be friendly with everyone, because I don't actually give a crap.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that in the friendliest way.
I trust.
Like,
Yeah.
Jewish, Muslim, agnostic, like, all that shit. Like,
we like I said, we keep a wide breadth of people we fuck with, and they fuck with us. I'm saying they're nice. We're nice to them in return, but also it's like if I have questions, I can go to them. I like that. That's also another thing. I like being made more wise on the situation. I used to go like when different don't take this as a race. When different Jewish high holidays would come up, I would always ask Seth, "What's this one about?" Because one, he knows it and he knows it well, but he also would take the time to be like, "All right, this was about this particular." Happenstance, you know what I'm saying? This particular feast, this particular this, that, this is what this is representative of. And he always says it cool to me. He always said it with trying to make sure I knew what it and understood what it was, and how to properly show respect to it. Because, so you don't want to be saying Happy Yom Kippur, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't mix, you know what I'm saying? That's not what Yom Kippur is about, you know what I'm saying? It would be, you know what I'm saying, I mean, that's an example, but you more like, a blessed Yom Kippur, or you know what I'm saying, or so forth and so on. It's like you don't want to say happy on certain situations, and I like that. I like having that.
What would you go with, like somber Yom Kippur?
No, it's like I said, it literally is
melancholy Yom Kippur.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we ended up on like it would be like a blessed Yom Kippur. I think is what we ended up riding out with. So it's just that's why if you are going to parties at your buddy's house and you are the only if you are the only other there, wonder why that is the case. Or if you will see no one else there of any kind of like, it is nothing but white people here. Okay, it is nothing but Puerto Ricans here. It is nothing but whatever here. Maybe you consider that and be like, all right, we gotta do better. It's okay to do it's okay to want to do better. It's okay to want to have a more diverse clique, and I think it's dope to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Now I think the caveat for that is theme parties.
Let's see. You walk this walk. It's this tightrope.
Well, no, because I mean like when I throw wrestling parties.
Okay.
Not everybody likes wrestling.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's like a certain reason for the gathering.
Yeah.
Maybe like some ethnicities prefer that event over other ethnicities.
I've been to your wrestling parties. There's always at least like 2 Puerto Ricans up in this bitch and one and one other black guy besides me. Almost every time. So it's like I'm not the lone brother. I'm not the lone person to color up in that shit. It's always like 6 women up in there. This bitch. You know what I'm saying? I know oftentimes they're coming with their booze, but they in there. You got it, bro. You have been doing it right this whole time. Continue to, please. So I'm just saying.
The standard bearer for diverse friendships.
Yeah, just sorry, bro. You got it already.
I guess my even keel, middle of the road, and bringing people together since 1985.
Oh my god! But what's been popping with you, Daniel Tiger? What's making your life go right?
I have a road for us to walk. It starts with when I got back from Orlando. About a week after I got back, I went to go to work on a Saturday. And now keep in mind, we're in daylight savings time now. And I work till 6 p.m. every night if I'm not working overtime. So by the time I get home, usually it's like pitch black outside. So I can't see shit in the backyard. So going to work on a Saturday, like I basically set my own schedule. Then I go when I feel like it, and I leave when I feel like it. I don't have to be there for a certain time at a certain time. I'm basically self-sustaining. So this particular Saturday, I was heading in to work probably around 11 p.m. 11 a.m. Because I don't get to sleep in during the week, and I don't sleep well when I'm afraid of oversleeping.
Yes.
So I constantly wake up in the night, so I'm tired all the time just because I don't get a restful night's sleep Monday through Friday. So Saturdays, knowing that I can go in whenever I fucking feel like it, I tend to sleep in. Mm-hmm. So I got up, showered, and I'm going out to my car, and I looked to my right of the driveway, and I noticed there's a roof tile on the ground.
Yeah, and you had told us about when you first discovered this. This was when you first got back from out of town, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just laying the groundwork.
Oh, yeah, no.
So I immediately was like, oh shit, I wonder where that came from. So when I get to the garage and I look back towards my house, I'm like, oh fuck, there's a couple spots on my roof that are kind of fucked up. Mm-hmm. And now my mind immediately started going, fuck, what do I do? Because I'm 34 years old. I've never had to fucking deal with a fucked up roof before.
Yeah.
So I immediately made some texts and a phone call, and I got different bits of advice from everyone who I talked to. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to take some time, explore my options, and figure this one out. So it ended up being that I had forgotten that one of the people I know actually used to do roof work for a living until he has his current job. So I hit him up, and I asked him if he'd be willing to help me out. And in that man's eyes, I'm a really good friend, and he feels like he owes me many favors for all the kindnesses I've shown him and the mistakes he's made that I've looked past. Yeah. So I picked him up this past Saturday, and I ended up costing my other buddy overtime because I don't own a ladder. Well, I didn't at this point own a ladder, and I couldn't find anyone that had a ladder for me to borrow. So I needed him to take his SUV up to the Home Depot with us so that we could strap the newly purchased ladder to his roof. So I bought some roofing supplies, some shingles. I bought a new hammer. Because I have a hammer, but it was in one of those multi tool kits.
It's not a good hammer.
Yeah, so I bought a $30 hammer, so I'm balling out now.
Good carpenter hammer.
Yeah, I got some roofing nails. I bought some shingles. I bought a razor blade, like an X-Acto knife kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I bought a ladder. It was ladders are cheaper than I would have thought. Granted, it wasn't a fancy ladder. It was an aluminum 16-foot, 225-pound limit ladder. It was $100.
For the rest of us, what would be a fancy ladder?
I was wondering the same thing.
Like a fiberglass, but ladders go all the way up to 32 feet and shit. That was a $500 ladder.
Fire truck ladders are fancy ladders.
Fire truck ladders. Yeah, they are fancy.
Well, but I mean, it was basic. It was just.
I get you.
It's some pop cans.
I just want that answer. I wanted you to dig into that thought process.
But so anyway,
basic ladder.
Ladder got jewels all on that shit, just shining. Got a speaker built into it.
Yeah,
the greatest ladder ever.
It's got room for your boombox.
You have the fancy ladder. You're making fun of the basic ladder. Have you basic ladder?
Well, at this point, I'm currently a basic ladder owning ass motherfucker.
So am I. Well, no, I have one that can fold and then to be a step ladder, or unfold and to be a lean on something ladder, whatever that's called.
Oh man,
I think it's called a ladder.
Ooh, you fancy. So
and it extends.
We come back to the house with the supplies, and he's working because it was basically 3 spots of my roof. It was the far right back corner, a spot about 10 feet to the left, which it was one tile had popped off or shingle, and then the far left corner where kind of where the power lines are, it's probably a 3-foot area that had kind of fucked up. So he's doing the first part, and my buddy who brought we used his SUV to bring the ladder, he left to go get his laundry started and do some errands and shit, and he was gonna come back later. And so I had to go grab something out of the garage, and this is where not knowing what the fuck is on my property cost me.
Okay.
So I spent $30 on a pack of shingles, only to find that the guy who owned the house before me had left 2 unopened packs of shingles in the garage. The thing about it was, though, if I hadn't have bought that pack of shingles, I wouldn't have fucking known that those were shingles because I didn't know what a pack of shingles looked like.
Yeah.
I was like, we had the pack of shingles behind us, like by my garbage cans outside, because that's where he set it to take them out for the roof.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there holding the ladder, and I'm looking at the pack of shingles, and then I'm looking in the garage, and my buddy who like lives in my house, that's usually the side of the garage he parks on, but he had left for the afternoon, and I'm looking past where his car was, and I'm seeing like this pack of rectangular white pack, and then I look at the pack of shingles I bought, and then I look back at the stack, and I'm like, motherfucker. And I'm like, we can't take it back now because we already opened it. Like 3 of them were on the roof. So there goes $30 there. So eventually, we were out there for probably about 2 hours.
Yeah.
We were out there long enough for Ohio State to get like a 20-point lead over Michigan. Like they were like kind of into the third quarter by the time we finished.
That was not a close game.
OH.
I-O.
So anyway, he finishes up the work. My job was essentially just hold the ladder because I'm afraid of heights, and
that heights to you.
Oh yeah, definitely heights. We've talked about this.
I didn't know where the fear began. Like what? If you had to measure where your fear of heights begins.
Here's the thing: like if I go up a ladder wrong, I can probably make it to the 3rd rung before I bail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like getting up on the first one, it's kind of like, oh my god, I'm proud of myself. Getting up to the second one, you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you get up to the 3rd one, you're like, all right, that's enough heights.
So you would never win a ladder match?
No. I'd be like R-Truth, afraid of ladders and spiders. So
Never lit a spider match.
So yeah, he finished the work, and I was very thankful because that's one of the things where, like, all in all, the supplies, buying all like the ladder and the hammer and all that shit was like $190 some.
Right.
And then I knocked $20 off of a ticket that he owed me for that I bought for an upcoming show.
Yeah.
And then I had some shoes that I had bought last year, like some boots and stuff, and they were all kind of too big for me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really wear them, but like one time, and he and I have about the same shoe size, so I just gave them to him. I'm like, here, you can have these. I can't use them, and if they're too big for you or you don't want them, feel free to give them away to somebody else.
Okay.
So he did it out of the kindness of his heart, and $20 and some new shoes that he didn't know he was getting until after the job was done. I just gave them to him.
Nice.
So
I like that because though you didn't want to have to spend the money, it becomes these long-term investments in your home. You need a ladder. You just do. If you're going to have a home, you probably need to have a ladder.
That was the thing, because I had texted... See, now, here's another thing. When I was at Thanksgiving, I was talking to my dad, now my biological father, and I had said something to him to the effect of, I never really ask anyone for anything unless it's like maybe a ride somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be pretty self-sufficient. I'm like, think about it. Like, I've never come to you and Mom for anything ever. Like, I ask people questions.
Yeah.
But I never, like, be like, hey, can you guys loan me $500? Like, or can you buy me this? Or can you do this for me? Like, I don't even ask, like, anyone to come over here really to, like, watch my cats or anything, really. Like, people have volunteered, and I'm appreciative. But, like, I don't really seek out help generally like that. So this was the first time where I texted my dad and I was like, hey, do you have a ladder that I could borrow?
Yeah.
And he was like talking to me about it, and what he had wasn't what I needed. But then like he was like, well, I was thinking about buying a ladder anyway, so I'll look at some ladders today. Maybe I'll buy one tomorrow. But I'm like, at that moment, I was like, that's cool, but I'm trying to get this done in like the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That doesn't really help me here. So I ended up buying that ladder, and then I texted him back when the work was done. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I ended up buying a ladder. And then he's like asking me about it. He's like, oh, well, do you think you'll actually use it? And I'm like, probably only in the future, maybe to clean my gutters.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean hire someone to clean my gutters.
They might need a letter to
Well,
do
he's
that.
like, well, maybe I'll just buy it off of you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's a very nice offer.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. But if it comes down, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, like, it was the first time as an adult that I actually had discord with my father where, like, I asked for help in some way.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Not to be...
That I asked for help?
Not to be, diagnosed or anything like that. Though. Why do you think you just are like, I'm not going to ask for help? Why do you find yourself not asking for help?
I think it's because as I grew up, I had to take care of myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got used to doing shit for myself. Because, like, growing up, I was always kind of like the de facto third adult.
Yeah.
So I didn't...
Which is something you found out even more of, I believe, when either in Florida or at your sister's wedding when it was discussed. Like, your absence really was, like, impactful when you left. I feel like you just figured that out recently. Where it's like after you left, shit went a little wild.
Yeah, it all kind of like changed.
Yeah.
I realized that after I'd come back, when I had left, and like 6 months later I came back, and it was like the whole dynamic had changed.
Yeah.
Not to say that like I was like glue holding anything together, because I don't feel like that. But like you remove someone from the equation, and like things change no matter what you're going to do. Because like I was the one when I was living there, doing the dishes and taking out the trash and cutting the grass, and I was basically doing all the chores.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else's role was like, make sure your room's clean.
Yeah.
And then I leave, and then it's like, all right, Dan's not here anymore. Who the fuck does the dishes now? Who takes out the trash? Who cuts the grass? Who rakes the leaves?
Yeah.
So it's like, I imagine that did change things in a way.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think like I just had to come to the acceptance of the fact that like at the end of the day, that is my dad.
Yeah.
And, it should be okay for me to ask for help on something.
Yeah.
And I think the realization really came over me when my stepmom, she hit me up like the day before we were going to Orlando and asked me if I needed a ride at the airport. And at the time, I had someone tell me they'd give me a ride even though they were hella fucking late and I was almost late to bag check-in. But, so like, my sister and her fiance were on the same flight, and then when we landed in Orlando, he had gotten a rental car from like the Airbnb rental car app thing. And when we were all in the car together, I was asking them how they got dropped off at the airport, and they're like, she's like, "Oh, Dad dropped us off." And then it dawned on me like, oh yeah, fuck, I didn't even think about asking Dad, because like I never asked for anything. And then like when I thought about it more, I'm like, yeah, Dad would actually be really fucking good because like Dad doesn't work anymore because of his heart attack.
Yeah.
So Dad's got nothing but time. So I'm like, in the future, remember, ask your father for rides to the airport.
Yeah. He's clutch. Like he's right around here, right? Like
Yeah, my dad lives like 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like I could be at my dad's in probably 5 minutes if I hit all the lights. So anyway, I felt like I kind of scathed by fairly well on everything, all things considered. Like, basically a friend helped me out on the labor. The supplies, all in all, didn't come down to too much. I was very fearful that I was going to end up with some sort of big bill here, or it was going to lead to bigger problems. And so, like, these thoughts all crossed my mind, and it got me, like, thinking about my savings. And I remember when I bought the house, which I've had for 3 years now, when they did the initial appraisal, they talked about how, he's like, oh, the roof's good, you probably got about 10 years of life on it. Well, I'm 3 years into that maybe 10 years estimate. So now the thought starts crossing my mind like, oh, fuck, I probably should start putting money away because I'm going to need a new roof at some point.
Yeah.
And these are all things that cross my mind, like when it comes to like the furnace or a hot water tank. And where I'm at right now, I need to kind of build that cushion up in case some shit like that happens. So that's why the other day I had gotten an email from like one of these toy websites that I bought some from before. Like I got put on a mailing list, and so they send me email updates of stuff that they have coming. Mm. And the hot shit right now is the Mandalorian show with the Baby Yoda, because the memes are everywhere and the show is pretty good.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, so I heard one of the things I had read last week was that like the companies felt like they dropped the ball when it came to Baby Yoda. They weren't prepared with merch for the drop of the show because like everyone's in love with Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So they're scrambling to like pump shit out into the market. And in the email, there was like a plush Baby Yoda for like $27. Now, when I saw the plush Baby Yoda, I was like, oh, that's really fucking sweet. And I had screen capped it to show to people. And like I sent it to our Skim group text. And at the time when I screen capped it, I was also listening to a book, which I'm about halfway through with right now. I think the lady's name, and don't quote me, I'll look it up later, and maybe T can put it in the show notes or something. I think it's by, her name's Kate Flanderson, but I could be wrong on that. Her book is basically talking about how she made an effort to stop overspending and stop drinking and stop doing drugs. Basically get her shit together.
Get her shit together, yeah.
Yeah. So I was listening to her, and a lot of the stuff that she was talking about, I felt like I related to, because for her, alcohol, like the drugs thing, I don't think she did that for that long. It was like, and it was weed.
Yeah.
But the alcohol thing, the way she was talking about it, and like she was talking about how she would lie to people, and she would do, and she had an eating problem too, I guess, from when she was a kid.
Jeez.
Yeah, she had put on some weight, so she's had, weight fluctuations with diet and stuff. A lot of things she would talk about resonated with me, because it was the same kind of shit I would do, where like I would buy something and eat it in my car so people never knew I had it, or I would bury the trash in the trash can so people wouldn't see like the remnants of it. Or like I would tell people I was better off than I was. Not like, oh, I'm rich or anything, but like lie to people about how well you're feeling or what's going on with you, or make people think you're doing all these things that you're not really doing. So, and then when she was talking about like buying stuff that she didn't need just on impulse and all that, it got me thinking about things that I've done that with. And it, like even shit, some of it's down here now still to a degree. Although I did downsize a lot last year, but it brought me back to that when I gave away like 3 to 4 boxes of toys to our toy drive last year. It's not like I went out to the store and specifically bought that shit to give to those children. That was just shit that I had laying in here that like was just taking up shelf space for no reason. And so listening to that book at that time brought all that back, and then like I had seen that Baby Yoda, and while my initial impulse was like, I like Baby Yoda, that's really cool, I want that, that feeling of that's not necessary then took over. So like when I sent it to the group text, I wrote something to the effect of like, this is really cool, it's a shame I'm listening to a book right now on not buying shit you don't need.
Yeah.
And then T said something about treating yourself, like, you work hard and you deserve to buy things every now and again that bring you joy or whatever. And I said something, while in retrospect did seem kind of snarky. I said something to the effect of, those are excuses we make for ourselves to deviate from goals or something like that. And I wish in retrospect I had phrased it better, but that was kind of my thought. And it was like, I was saying that because it's what I do.
Yeah.
I will say that I want to do things as far as like, now I have in my past feel like when I have like big goals, like buying my house or buying my car, I was able to buckle down and do those kinds of things. But when like it comes to saving money, I feel like that's one of the areas that I've faltered, because I always put myself in that trap of like, oh hey, that plushie's really cool, I'll just buy that plushie. But then it never stops, because like it's never just the one plushie. The one plushie becomes that, and it becomes a $35 meal eating out one night, and then next thing I know, I'm buying something else that I don't need to buy because I like it, or I'm trying this other thing, and like I never stick to the restrictions on my fringe purchases like I should. So that was why I said that, because it was what I do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give myself that out in that regard of, it's one thing, because it's never one thing. It's never
one thing with you.
Yeah.
And you're not like, you never one thing with you, not me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, I always give myself that out, and then I just keep giving myself that out. I never stop. So that's why I felt like I had to just not even go there, because I knew that would open the floodgates. Because this whole roof thing, like I said, it made me realize that like I have to plan better, and I have to be more strict in my spending to a degree. I'm not saying that like I can't buy anything ever, or I can't have some fun or anything like that. I just gotta be more mindful of the purpose of the thing that I'm buying.
Yeah.
So like a $27 Yoda plushie seems sweet in the initial buy, but what happens 6 months from now when I have this $27 Yoda plushie? Am I going to want the Yoda plushie, or am I going to wish I just had the $27 back?
And also things like that, which are, I'm not saying Baby Yoda ain't the shit. Baby Yoda's great, but Baby Yoda's also quite possibly just a flash in the pan. You may not give a fuck about Baby Yoda down the line.
That's the other thought that comes in. It's like, it's a momentary joy. It's like, is this really going to last?
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to give a shit about Baby Yoda 6 months from now? So it's like, I have plenty of stuff in my basement, more, and admittedly probably more than I need. I do need to do some organization. That's coming hopefully in the next 24 hours. But like, I try and keep my joys and hobbies to this room for the most part. And I don't want to expand past that, because then I feel like it's going to, like, I'm going to get buried under things I don't need. I'm going to bury myself under clutter. Like right now, I feel like I need to organize my kitchen. Because I have like Tupperware everywhere and random things laying around, and I it's got to the point where like I don't know what the fuck I have. It's the same thing with the shingles. If I've owned this place for 3 years now, I still have boxes in the garage that I placed down when I moved in that I have not gone through. My plan for this going into this year is I kind of want to do like a dream board of sorts, but it's more of like a goals board. That way, like, I have that visual representation and the reminder of, like, these are the things you said that you want to work on this coming year. And I'm not trying to make it, like, a new year, new me kind of thing.
No, just set some tangible, meetable goals that you can say, January's goal is to go through those boxes in the garage. You have the whole entire month of January to do it.
Well, probably not January, because it's
no doubt.
That's probably more of like an April.
Y'all California motherfuckers, y'all go to y'all garage in January. It's warm out there. But tangible goals that you can meet. Therefore, because that's where that joy is gonna come from. I met that goal.
Yeah,
check that off the list. Maybe I did that, and that as opposed to Baby Yoda. I'm telling you, like I said, I love Baby Yoda. Fucking Baby Yoda hard. I watched Mandalorian chapter 5 today when it came out. This morning.
I have not watched it yet.
Motherfuckers be on that spoiling shit about this thing. We'll talk about that in a bit.
And that's the thing. When not really going on social media much has really saved me. Because I'll be honest, lately I use Twitter for looking at women. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I go on Facebook. I check to see if I have a little red circle at the top. If I don't, I back the fuck out of that motherfucker. Twitter. I have some salacious type women that I peruse. Instagram is a mixture of physical fitness guidance, family and friends, and half naked women. Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm a man. I'm not doing anything wrong. That's just my social curation right now, and I'm okay with it.
Again, y'all need to listen to Ron Funch's Giggle Fit. Joke about that thing. He talks about how he has a bit where he says, I like women in long winter coats because I like thinking about what's going on underneath there. That's his thing. He goes, it's not too creepy. It's a little creepy, but not too creepy. And I'm like, that's fucking great, Ron Funches. I fuck with you hard, man.
So I told the whole story about the roof.
Yeah.
To get to the discussion we had in the text message.
Yeah.
Because our text messages are usually lighthearted and jokey and brief, but this created paragraph type discussions of back and forth. And while granted it was happening while we were at work, so I wasn't really giving it my full. But Anthony kind of chimed in, and Anthony is very neutral in a lot of things.
Switzerland like a motherfucker.
Yeah, but when he talks though, while neutral, it also has bits of knowledge in it. And Anthony was speaking from a position of experience, I would say, because he's had some things come up in the last couple months that were surprise expenses. Yeah. So, he and I were kind of talking about it in a private chat before this. So he understood where I was coming from. Now, I expressed regret in how I presented it to T because it wasn't. I feel like I was coming off as preachy when it wasn't what I intended. I was talking more about myself. But I used the universal tense rather than the I tense.
I think also, not to interrupt your cipher, but I think as a both a homeowner and a car owner, so we're gonna use those because in reality those are the biggest expenses. You do kind of always have to have a nest egg popping, cause shit goes sideways.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the thing where like I could see our living situations are similar, but they're different in that like you have kids and I don't.
Yeah,
but I own my home and you don't.
Yeah.
Whereas like if something for me breaks, I have to be the one to fix it.
Yeah.
Whereas something for you breaks, you call another dude and like, hey dude, you need to fix this. So it's like the financial burdens are similar, but they're different.
Yep.
So whereas like you're more in the moment and you've got the immediates, I've got to think 10 steps ahead. It's like
Exactly.
I got to play fucking chess.
Yeah.
So it's like our needs are different. And then and you're a collector, but you use your shit.
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit, I have stuff that like it just sits on shelves. I have 2 bookshelves right here next to my computer with stuff on it, and the stuff just sits on it. I've got 3 bookshelves sitting behind me right now that just have stuff sitting on it. I don't actually use any of this shit. Like I've got movies and video games over there that I bought that I've never fucking watched or played. I know he fucking listens to his records because he puts that shit on Instagram all the fucking time.
Right now, no name. Go check it out. You only got like a few hours left before that disappears. Actually, just getting well and true going at this point.
And the same thing with his video games and movies. I know he watches that shit and he plays those things because they end up on his IG story. So T doesn't, like, he buys things that bring him joy, similar into the vein of Baby Yoda in that, in the grand scheme of things, it might not be that important overall, but it does bring him joy because it's something he likes, but at the same time, he actually uses it. Whereas, like, a $27 plushie...
What use is there?
Yeah, there is no use. It sits on a shelf.
You'll snuggle that Baby Yoda real
But,
tight.
like, that $27 I can put into a savings account, and then if 2 years from now my hot water tank takes a crap, I got $27 more towards that fucking hot water tank. Well, yeah, knock on wood, hope that shit will happen. But that was the thing that, like, that was my thought process going into that conversation. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that, like, we were able to sit down here and flush this out a little bit more, because it, like, I felt like there needed to be some backstory there on where I was coming from, rather than feeling like I was preaching to people about their life choices.
Yeah. I also think, man, you sometimes work 55 hours a week. Buy a fucking plushie if you need it, man. If truly on your heart hurts, you like, I need Baby Yoda sitting over here looking over me, keeping me safe in my heart. You do work. So not just we work too hard. You in particular work very hard. Sometimes so much so that it weighs on you. You know what I'm saying, mentally. You know what I'm saying, and kind of beat you down. If you need fucking Baby Yoda or I don't know what the fuck anything else, I don't want you to be like, but what if my hot water tank goes tomorrow? God damn it, I don't want this hot water tank going now. I feel like I'm saying this shit. But I don't want you to have bust your shit so fucking hard for so long and then be like, well, I was ready when that hot water tank went. It's like, it's good. I do want you ready for if the hot water... Man, this hot water tank, man, holy shit.
Look,
I just want to go hug it right quick. Like,
you
baby,
not
relax.
Fuck up. You better not fuck up.
Not today,
I'm
Satan.
going to talk shit to you.
It's like, and this is kind of, I think I make my point clear, but I get all God body and preachy sometimes. We live in a capitalist, our society, American society is a capitalist system that says, work this hard, do this and do that, and buy these things or do this and so forth and so on. But it's also like, it's constantly like saying, but no, in reality, you need to never spend a dime and be prepared for any and everything at all times. But it's like, make me all my money. It's like we work for a big fucking company and we make them. I know how much money I fucking make this company, and I know how much they give me in return.
Oh, our stock was up $5 today.
$5 is massive.
Yeah.
In a stock situation. That's actual percentage points of difference.
I pinged Anthony about around 3:30. I was like, "Did you see our stock right now?"
Something happened to that. Did you know why?
I have no fucking clue.
I always like to look into it and see what the fuck went weird that made all of a sudden our money go like swing in a direction like that. But I don't like that we always are told basically you got to starve right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why I gotta starve, man? I'm really working hard. I'm doing whatever. I'm doing what I've been told to do. I fucking put the maximum amount I'm supposed to put in on my 401k. I buy stock in the company. You know what I'm saying? I do have a savings. It's not the most massive savings, but I have a savings. I'm putting money. I'm socking money aside. I'm doing everything that I've been told to do. And then the world also just says, yeah, don't buy yourself nothing sweet though, bro. Because I mean, what the fuck? And it's like, that's just so not cool.
Well, the thing about it in my current situation is my savings is basically cut in half right now from what it was a month ago.
Yeah. Because
I paid my car insurance a full year in advance.
Yeah.
And then I took a trip to Las Vegas. I took a trip to Orlando. I bought a ticket to go to a wrestling show in a couple weeks. Well, it's next month.
Yeah.
But that was like $100. Christmas is coming up in like 2 weeks, and I've probably done half my shopping, which I'm not balling out. But like I bought some stuff over the couple months that I've saved.
Yeah.
But I still need to buy some people some things. Bills don't ever stop. I had the roof thing wasn't an expected expense. That ended up being a couple $100. I'm still paying off my car. So it's like, I did get some enjoyment, but it's like, I have to rebuild.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's part of why I canceled the trip we were talking about going to WrestleMania next year. And while I got lost in the sauce, we'll say, where I'm just like, oh man, I want to go to WrestleMania again because I went a couple years ago and it's in Florida, and I was like, oh man, maybe I go to fucking Universal and go to Harry Potter World for a day, and I go see the Star Wars Cantina, and it's like all these things sound really cool. But then when I stop and I have that clarity moment where I'm like, all right, well, plane ticket's going to cost this, ticket in the event's going to cost this, the travel from Tampa Bay to Orlando is going to cost this, then the Universal ticket's going to cost this, and the Disney ticket's going to cost this, and then I got to feed myself, and then I got to have a plane ticket back. All the reality of the financial burden that comes with that trip caught up to me, and I went, fuck, I don't want to spend my tax return on this. I want to take my tax return and just place it into my savings account and rebuild my savings. Like, so I had that thought, but I had talked to two other people about going on the trip, and they were about that. And then I know my one buddy pretty well, and I can tell when he's flushing for information, not because he's looking for an answer, but because he's got a thought, but he's too afraid to say what he's actually thinking because he doesn't want to be the party pooper. So at one point he had asked me something about what a ticket to Universal would actually cost and if it would be too much. And that's when I was like, okay, he's waffling on this, but he won't say it.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, he was over here and we were watching the AEW pay-per-view together, and I was just finally the one who was like, hey, buddy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And then he went, oh, thank God. I didn't want to be able to, I didn't think I could do it either, but I didn't want to be the one to say it. Because I was just like, yeah, I'm like, I know if my tax return is what this coming year, hopefully what it was like last year, that would triple my savings.
Yeah.
And I want that.
Yeah.
Like, while the trip to Florida seems sweet and all, I could easily just do what I've done the last couple of years and have a little barbecue and invite people over here and have a party and just keep it the same this coming year and spend maybe $150 on that and still keep, the rest of my fucking tax return. And I'd rather do that than spend it and feel like I have to go the whole year and fucking scrape pennies and shit.
I'm not going to Boston this year. Just conveniently enough, it's happening way too early this year. It's happening the last weekend in February, like February 29th and shit. I'm like, it's way too early to me. We went to Boston when it was cold before you and I keep saying the year you went to PAX with me, it was a cold year.
That was cold as shit.
And that was March. This is February going into March, and I'm just like, we're not going to PAX this year. And I'm just like, so what that does mean is my tax return stays my tax return. So it does mean my savings gets to get a little padded, and I'm a little bit prepared if we go to the 6 again in July. You know what I'm saying?
That honestly is the first trip that I'm thinking about, and that's not bad. That's a car ride. That's a baseball ticket, and that's whatever we do when we get there.
Yeah, yeah. And now that we've done that enough, we kind of know what that costs. You know what I'm saying? We know to try to avoid buying gas in Canada. If possible, you want to get it at the border before you get into Canada, people. That's what you want to do, because Canadian gas is measured in liters, and it basically ends up being like almost $4 or $5 a gallon. Who wants that life? Nobody.
See, socialism.
You know what?
I was joking.
They got health care. I don't know how their school situation works, but still, they do got universal health care. So maybe that's what it is. I'm saying they don't got to worry about going bankrupt on medical spending. Therefore, they can spend $5 on a gallon of gas. They all right with that. But that's kind of it's kind of where my head is at on the situation.
The other thing about it too is like, I don't know how long we're gonna stay as busy as we are.
Yeah.
So, because the markets change, you know, and I hope that doesn't give any clue of what it is we do.
Market change,
but like,
trust me, it's financial.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like almost like I have to take advantage of the overtime.
Yeah, I've been trying myself. I've been trying to work it as much as I can too. I'm with you on that.
I mean, like, I mean, honestly, I haven't taken a lunch in 3 days.
Yeah.
And my department manager has been sitting next to me for the last like month, and I said that out loud today. Like the lady who sits behind me, she was like rumbling and grumbling about something, and she's like, "And I'm taking a lunch today, and ain't nobody gonna stop me." And I was like, "That's right, you treat yourself. It's Friday." I'm like, I might fuck around and take a lunch today too. I'm like, I ain't taking one in 3 days. And then like the department manager, she chimes in. She's like, "Yeah, you should do that." But then she's like, she heard me say that I ain't taking a lunch in 3 days, but she didn't be like, "Oh no, you're supposed to be taking lunch." She ain't no corporate talk. She was just kind of like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't be taking lunches because we're that busy right now." Almost like she didn't say that, but it was like she heard me say that I ain't done it in 3 days, and she had in no way made any effort to kind of like stop me from doing that.
I don't know what to do with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I were even to just mention that I haven't been taking, that I've been taking, because we can take half-hour lunches. I ain't even been doing that. I really have been running downstairs grabbing food and coming back. If I were even to just even bleep that shit out loud a little bit, my boss would be on my ass and be like, "No, get the fuck out of here for a half hour. You got to be gone." You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Because she don't play that shit. Mm-hmm. Just had my review. Very good review. I was very proud of myself. I'll talk about that off mic.
I haven't had mine yet, but I hope it's stellar.
Yeah. I actually feel like, okay, you better pay me for this motherfucker. Because that's a solid ass review you just gave
That
me.
was what I told my boss in my last monthly one-on-one.
Yeah.
After he told me what I did, I was like, "Oh, you know, this means you have to pay me, right?"
Yeah, that's a fuck you pay me kind of moment. But, yeah, one... yeah, you're not just y'all aren't just my friends. You are my actual family. My family. I have no family that lives in this area besides my children. So y'all are my actual fucking family. We can have these tete-a-tetes every now and again about these things, and I clearly understand what we mean. I know you weren't trying to be offensive to me and say, "T, don't be buying no records, motherfucker." But I also want you to know that what I'm saying is, don't be working this motherfucking this hard in your life and not get no enjoyment out of it. Don't you break yourself fucking for these people who would not break themselves for you, who literally don't give a fuck that you ain't took a lunch in 3 days.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm not doing it for the company.
I know, but
I'm doing it because like I want to get my car paid off, and like I'm doing it for me in the financial goals I have.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to make sure that I'm okay. I don't give a fuck about like big hitting company goals and being stellar and all that. I do that just because naturally.
Yeah. Well, I know. I just like I said, I often feel like hustles jobs take advantage of their employees in a way that is real fucked up when you think about it. It's a system that has been built from the ground up for that very reason. That's how capitalism works. It's supposed to be, but like the cost of living has gone up in a way that is shocking, and wages have not gone up in this country to match that at all. And like I said, I don't want you out here, like I said, breaking yourself to fucking bits and pieces and not being rewarded for it in some way, shape, or form. I know you're in your mind right now. Your reward is, my reward is T. If this hot water heater goes fucking sideways, I got that bitch and I ain't got to worry about it. Yes, that's a good reward, but sometimes I just want your reward to be, oh shit, I went to go to see Pittsburgh play. I went to go see the Browns play in Pittsburgh. I got to see that rivalry up close and personal. That's dope.
Sorry you had to go to that game though.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Nah, that's fine. It was all gravy until a bunch of people tried to pick a fight with me after the game.
Yeah, you'll hear about that.
Yeah, it's on the upcoming show.
Oh, okay.
So that's and though that probably is not as clear as it should be in text message, I know I can tell you that shit to your face, and I know you understand it. And so that's just what that is.
I feel like if we had actually been fighting, there would have been a lot more text messages than there actually was.
Yeah, that shit was like, no, I want you happy. I want all y'all happy at all times.
It's funny though when you can tell when the mood and the temperament of the conversation has changed.
Yeah,
because it goes from like one sentence answer to a fucking novel.
We about to write about things, bro. I just. Like I said, this system is shady, and it has been for a very long time. And I don't like the notion of you'll get your gifts later. Like maybe, but most likely not.
It's right now. I want to finish paying off this car.
Yeah,
and
I know that's a goal of yours.
Yeah,
and like I said,
I'm almost there. I've got like 6 months left.
Maybe put that on the board. I'm saying if you got
yeah. And then it's the Best Buy card.
Yeah,
because I've got like. The phone on there that I'm finishing paying off, and then the dryer that I had, because that was the whole thing about this, was like the dryer is a perfect example. The dryer broke, and I'm no fucking repairman. Now I can go to YouTube and I can figure out what the dryer's doing or not doing, and look up searches based on that and figure out from there if it's something I can fix or not, or find someone to fix the dryer based on what I was seeing online compared to what it was doing. The computer was shot on it, and I'll be honest, the hardware on it was kind of wore out anyway. So in that regard, it behooved me to just buy a new dryer.
Yeah,
but it's like shit. Like I come to realize my own limitations as far as my knowledge of things when it comes to that, like the home repair stuff.
Yeah,
I wasn't raised to be handy. I was just raised to get shit done.
Yeah.
So if the hot water tank were to go, knock on wood, I would have to figure out how to go about getting that fixed.
Yeah.
Because I don't know these things. It's like every month I get like letters from the electric company and the sewer company trying to get me to buy like $3.99 monthly insurance in case something breaks and I'm responsible for this and that and the other. I'm like, I wasn't raised to understand if this is a scam or not.
Yeah.
But I get this every month. I don't know if it's like they're legitimately like, hey, you need this, or like they're just trying to screw me out of $4 a month. Because it's like, I even asked my stepmom about it at Thanksgiving dinner, and she's just like, oh yeah, I get them too. And like, no one was just like, could tell me if like it was like a legitimate need or not.
Is that a wise purchase or not?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm literally looking for guidance here. I don't know.
How much is it? I
think it was like $3.99 a month or something like that.
It's almost like, are you really taking an L at that point on that $4? It's almost like, so I pay Cox, both our internet provider, an extra whatever a month for repair shit, in case some shit goes sideways, basically. Because the one time I had shit really go sideways, I had to give them a whole lot of extra money to fix it. Mm-hmm. And they were like, had you been paying for this whole time, you would have been sweet.
I'm when it comes to shit like that, I'm a little gun shy because it's like I pay for car insurance every month, but when was the last time I ever got any money back from that shit? True. Whenever they use SafeLight one time in like, I've been driving now for like 12 years. One time I tapped the back of a lady's bumper and left like a quarter size paint smudge. And then one time I had to have the car insurance company fill in a chip on my windshield with that SafeLight goo shit. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I've paid a lot more money into 1/4 inch of paint and one shot of goo.
it's again, and that's another one. Like I said, this is the system that they've placed us in. They've told us that we gotta put the maximum in our 401k to hopefully one day retire. Maybe they tell us that, you know what I'm saying, you pay for insurance in case somebody hits you or you hit somebody. I'm a relatively good driver. I try to keep a wide berth around motherfuckers. But I had a car today just try to snatch out in front of me in a parking lot. Did not give a fuck about anything. And I had to weave around this bitch.
It comes down to like, if you ever played Oregon Trail on the old black and green screen, where like you at the beginning of the game you pick your character and like the banker starts out with like $2,000 so you can buy all the supplies, and then there's like the handyman that like he has less money, but like when your axle breaks, he could fix his own fucking axle and save himself some money in that regard.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that where it's like, I understand that in the game of life, when shit like that breaks, I'm probably going to have to be more like the banker, paying some motherfucker to come fix it.
Yeah.
Because I ain't like the handyman who can repair his own axle. So it's like I have to make sure I'm prepared for those situations because I know that at some point it's going to happen.
I can do and have done a good number of repairs on the Ford. The same can be said for the Honda. I just can't. It's too technical. It's a way smaller block in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where the fuck am I even gonna put my hand at this shit? I can't even do that. I have replaced the thermostat. I've done the brakes. I've done a lot of work on my Ford.
I will admit that having YouTube definitely helps.
Oh yeah.
Because like I was able to install my Nest thermostat because of that.
Yeah.
And now, granted, hooking up a dryer is not like a tremendous feat, but I never was shown how to do that shit. Like I got the new dryer and I forget what it was. Oh, it's because the dryer that I had hooked up was a gas dryer and the dryer I bought was an electric dryer. Yeah. So I had to figure out how to safely unhook the gas one myself and then hook up the electric one. I did that all by myself, and like I said, I'm not trying to say it was a tremendous thing, but I was proud of myself for not blowing up my house and having a working dryer that I didn't fuck up.
Yeah, respect the fucking hell out of it.
I even figured out to clean the exhaust pipe without reading the internet because there's like lint gets up in there and shit. And,
yeah.
Which I guess is something now that I think about it should probably be like a yearly maintenance thing.
Yeah.
But I had never done that until the other dryer broke.
Now you know, get him every now and then, getting there with your long brush. I have one of those long brushes for the dryer to get him in there, swirl it around, and
washer and dryer's breaking down too. It's just.
It's like I said. It's like I get it. I know we're supposed to be prepared, and I'm actually, like I said, I've managed to go get a lot of things in check over my life as the time. It unfortunately took the passing of my children's mom to get me to get a lot of shit right in my life, but it did do just that. It said I gotta tighten up on this, and this, and because of that, I got better credit now. I have you know what I'm saying. I have a savings. Like I said, I literally went from just, you know what I'm saying, doing basically the bare minimum on my 401k to like the absolute maximum that I can put on, that they'll let me put on that bitch. So again, one day maybe I can retire. And it opened my eyes to a lot of shit and got me trying to make sure I got shit in motion as need be to hopefully, to be a better parent and take care of my kids in the long run. But also every now and again, motherfucker, I'm buying a dope record and I'm happy as fuck about it. Today, LP announced he finally got his hands back on some of his back catalog and is coming through with some dope shit next year. Very excited about that.
Lupe Fiasco?
No, LP. It's the homie El Producto, one half of Run the Jewels. Is how most of y'all know him. The white half. That's the homie El Producto, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. All kinds of jokes with his name. It's fantastic. Who once said to me how much he very much enjoyed the name of Podcast. Just like to point that out to you.
I remember that.
That shit
was an exciting day.
Bro, him and Oliver Wong of Heat Rocks podcast saying they both appreciated that name. I was like, thank you. I too appreciate this.
It's a shame it's on hiatus.
Literally, just talking
about that too.
Just talk. It's a lot of shit popping in the background.
Like, all on the same plane here.
Yeah,
it's all fucked up.
I'm telling you, man. That's just who we are, and this is what it is. So it's all good. Not to dip.
Taylor Swift's trying to get her back catalog back. Like, if you need me to comment on that on an upcoming episode of a podcast, you let me know.
I actually think that situation with her is I both find it interesting and infuriating on a couple of different levels there. With her intention was to, if they weren't going to let her buy her back catalog back, she's like, well, fuck it, I'll just re-record that shit. And then they was being bitches about her, and you ain't going to do that. And it's also, I'm like, so I look at it as like, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan in any way, shape, or form. But
I'm around on her. My daughter really enjoys Shake It Off, and
no doubt, and
she seems like a good person, and like
that is where we differ in agreements. I don't think she seems like a good person, but I do know she wrote that fucking music. She did what she's supposed to do in her part of the situation. She earned that shit, and should be. And I feel like she should be respected in that regard. I think Tay Tay is a bit of a bia. But I also think that's perfectly fine in this world that treats women like absolute garbage. Sometimes you gotta be a bitch to fucking make bitch moves. So that's okay.
Now,
but I think they are fucking her hard in this regard, and that they're like, no, because we think we want to re-release your shit ourselves, and that would fuck up our money. They had no intention of doing that. They weren't really gonna do that. What they want to do is they want to fuck her over. And again, this capitalist system that is just trying to fuck us all over. Even people like her, who are a very wealthy woman who has no real need to do this, but she knows her people want to hear those products.
Now, as the resident Taylor Swift fan of this show, here's what I'll say on this subject. I don't know all the particulars of whatever contract she signed back in the day and what their initial agreement was and the rights to all that kind of thing. Admittedly, I'm ignorant to those facts. The only thing that I could perhaps surmise as an example is there are times when you get hired by a company that whatever work you produce while employed at that company becomes property of that company. Now, being an artist, I understand that personal creativity goes into those things, but maybe when she was signed to that record label, their agreement was that whatever music she produced while under that record label became property of that record label,
that is
which would mean that they're under no obligation to actually give her the rights to the music she created back, because by the law, they own it because she created it while under their employment.
Yeah.
So I understand the spirit of wanting to give the artist their art back. The legality of it might be that she has no fucking claim to the music she created because of the contract she signed when she was under their employ. Now, I don't know if that's the particular instance here. That's just how I would view it from an outside perspective based on what I've seen in the past with other things.
That's literally it word for word. That's what's going on right here. So, again, like I just told you, LP just got his back catalog back. That's his music that he made. He did that shit, produced it, wrote it, all that shit. But ownership works weird in the music industry. People own pieces and parts of things, and they did it. And her situation was this. They said to her, we want you to re-up with us for, I believe, like a 6-album deal, which is a lot. Don't think that's not that. That is a large body of work. They want her to re-up with them for like a 6-album deal. In return for that, they would have returned her back catalog to her with all rights and so forth. You know what I'm saying? She said, I don't even want to fuck with y'all no more. I would like to go, go become my own artist and sign with whoever I'm going to sign with. I'm just going to have to leave this shit behind, and maybe I'll re-record it because I wrote it and so forth and so on, and then re-release it under my own my new situation. And they was like, nah, he ain't even doing that. It's fucked up. It is again, the spirit of art. You know what I'm saying? We all think art and artists should be able to live and do what they do. But we also live in a system that says, you work for me, what you come up with while you work here. That's how, remember the Bratz doll? The lady who made the Bratz doll got sued by the people who made Barbie because she came up with Bratz while she still worked for Barbie, basically. And they're like, that means that's ours.
I mean, that was...
Yeah, but I thought the Bratz lost that. Barbie lost that.
Bratz lost that unless with someone on appeal.
That's the premise of Silicon Valley, the show on HBO.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Huh, there you go. Oh,
it was part of a plotline of the show.
The Oculus Rift, the VR headset, the guy who came up with it at the point in time he came up with it was working for another company, and when it's all said and done, Oculus had to come out to pocket to them a pretty substantial chunk of change. And I think what it is it's a perpetual licensing situation now, where basically they have to pay Bethesda X amount of money to keep doing VR shit, because when the dude came with the notion of their version of VR, he was working for Bethesda at the time, and it just is what it is, man. It's the system we have in this country, in this system, and it stinks sometimes. I know we all want art to be in the hands of the artists, but sometimes they have to be patronized.
But that's what business is, though. Like, yeah, you have to record labels and shit aren't going to do it just for the kindness of their heart. It's a business at the end of the day.
This is indeed a business, and it must be respected as such. And
You're too far gone to understand that.
You anything you want to toss in there, man? I mean, we've all kind of generally had a good chat on here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you said you're going to consider it, but don't feel like you need. So, like I said, we've been going for a bit, so there's no need for like the full schlemiel. But if you got something,
I came all this way. I stayed awake. Might as well.
You need to talk because I get asked all the time if you're going to be on the upcoming episodes.
I am here.
I can't always just say, oh no, he wasn't there this time. Or no, he fell asleep this time.
I did not fall asleep. I was very quiet because I didn't have much to add to that. Being a homeowner myself, like this very night, my kitchen sink got stuffed up and I had to take it apart and snake it and
so that's one of those things where if I had to do that, I don't know even where to start on that.
You know what? You can always call me.
And a snake.
I guess we can start.
Yeah. We've been at it
Give
for a while. Like I snake the drain every now and again at the house.
Well, it's like, do you have to shut the water valves off? Like, where are those at? What do they look like?
Well, that was...
How do you get the pipes off? Like, do you buy a new pipe? Like, do you just clean it? Like, all these questions, I don't know.
We'll let you know next time.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you.
Yeah. What was it?
I never saw what was stopping it up, but the Drano must have the snaking and the Drano together must have pushed it out.
Very good.
To the great beyond.
To the
that seems a little dangerous because it feels like something's gonna come up missing later, and you're gonna be like, "Oh no."
It was carrot peels. My wife made a bad choice.
My lovely lady did the same thing with potato peels on Thanksgiving, and I was ready to. I was like,
peels don't go down the garbage disposal. Will not take care of peels. Don't do it.
Not all the peels. You throw a little peel, garbage disposal, stop. Little peel, garbage disposal, stop. Not all the goddamn peels at one time. Jesus fucking H Christ. Because then I'm under the sink with the fucking Allen wrench, having to twist the fucking garbage disposal. I got it fine. I fixed the problem. Didn't have to call anybody to fix the problem. I don't like that I had to fix the problem.
If you want to compare rage with family lately,
bro, I know what happened at your house today. You win.
All right. The listeners don't need to hear that. But I mean, speaking of rage, I've been doing a lot of rage listening to radio lately, and I wish you guys would talk some sense into me. What's wrong with you two not talking some sense into me and telling me to stop listening to this garbage on the radio?
I don't know how many times we can tell you to not tweet at dumb people or do things that are going to obviously...
legitimately has gotten so much better on Twitter.
I have.
You know how I told you I don't go on Twitter? Except for a few random things?
Well, no, I'm sharing that with you now.
Well, no, I'm saying this because I went on to Twitter like 2 nights ago and I saw a tweet by this man here. It was like something to the effect of, I knew I said I wouldn't interact with these small accounts anymore, but...
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like,
I did do that.
Fuck. And then I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
He's been better, he's been better. He's not all the way up, but he has been better.
There's some backslide, a little bit. Sometimes the alcohol will...
It's like I said earlier when we were talking about keto before we got on the mic, where I was doing keto for pretty solid there for a good stretch, and then the holidays hit, and I've been working all this overtime, and the last two and a half weeks, my diet's been shit. I fell off the wagon. I had a slip, but we're going to right the ship. I
mean, we all have our addictions. We backslide. I'm a rageaholic. I'm addicted to rageahol. But
you're on the rage.
But
speaking of rage, though, remember the story I told on the show a couple weeks back about when I bought the jacket at the Cavs game and the woman pressured me about the penny?
Yes.
I told that story at Thanksgiving dinner, and I honestly thought that, because it was a varied crowd in that, my family was there, my parents, my siblings, my cousin, my uncle, but then my uncle's girlfriend, her parents came, and her parents are, got to be in their 80s.
Yeah.
She's approaching 60, I believe. She's retired and all that. So her parents, are up there.
Mm-hmm.
I tell this story. So I first told it to my stepmom because she was sitting next to me on the couch.
Yeah.
And she laughed. And then my dad caught the last couple sentences, so he asked me to tell it all again from the top. So I told the whole room. I thought that I was going to get some how could yous, or I can't believe you did that. And all I got was praise and laughs and, pats on the back of, hell yeah, I'm glad you did that. How dare she? So that in that instance, people agreed with my rage.
I mean, sometimes my rage is justified, and in unrighteous rage. But sometimes, most of the times, it's just silly. No, I don't know why. I was doing so well not listening. I've been just listening to podcasts or books or music or what have you, and then I just once in a while I have a relapse. I don't know why. I'm not proud of that.
Break the antenna of your car. No AM radio for you, except that actually would mean AM radio would be probably all you could get. You couldn't get FM radio if I broke your antenna. Damn, amplitude modulation.
You know what, I don't even want to give shine to the radio shows I listen to.
No, let's not give props to any of these things. I just
They were one of the defenders of the Ryan comments about Lamar Jackson. Their analogy was like, well, you know, if it was a white player wearing a white uniform and the football was white and there was a snowstorm, like, oh, Jesus Christ, what are you doing here? And he's like, if a black commentator said that, he wouldn't have been suspended.
Do they think?
I'm like, what?
What color do they think white people are? Because you know, white folk aren't Snow Whites.
Black people aren't jet black like the Ravens uniform either. They're not literally black.
I could be football brown, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Football's not that dark.
But that's the AFL football. We can't trust that one.
Oh.
Yeah, NFL football's a little darker than that one. I caught that at a Gladiators game. Rest in peace, AFL.
Whole league collapsed last week.
I didn't know that.
I'll never be able to catch
sad.
a ball like that in the crowd again.
What's Bon Jovi supposed to do? Now the Philadelphia Soul, I know more.
I can buy I don't know.
An XFL team?
Yeah, what's going on with the XFL? I thought it was coming out soon.
It comes out next year.
Yeah, it comes out for like February.
Yeah, they just showed
right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
It's gonna be mandatory. You have to stand for the anthem.
I think that's literally written in there. Yeah, so you asked, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure that is a rule. Yeah,
That's alright.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
Don't do it to yourself.
nah.
Anyway,
I was to reiterate what we said. Like, why do we think police and military service are only public services that deserve some kind of respect and some ass kissing?
because they got guns. And we worried they're gonna kill us.
So.
The other is it's a deep seated fear that they're gonna fucking get rid of us. Why are people so shook of how we don't need to bring up that this land was stolen? Because the reality of it is there's a deep seated worry in the back of their heads that one day these indigenous people might fucking flip the script and come try to take this land back. It's fear. It's literal fear.
Speaking of that, I saw a tweet today, and I was kind of like shook off of it a little bit. It was talking about saying that Eskimo is a racial slur.
It is.
It is?
White people made that up.
I didn't know that.
You
either.
say that with like such knowledge, and when I read that, I was just like, "You mean that's not just people that live in Alaska?" And then it like went into all this detail about like different tribes and shit like that, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
That's why I was always uncomfortable. I guess I was not. That's not why, because I just learned that just now that Eskimo's a slur. I wasn't a big fan of Eskimo brothers. I always thought like from Wiener Cousins from Scrubs was a well, it makes me laugh more.
Also, why do we go with Eskimo brothers in that regard?
It's just what I heard.
I know, but I mean, like, no.
Because you were in the same igloo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the connotation. Let's see if
I feel like that tracks. You was in the same igloo. I don't like that too. Because then it's like we all lived in
igloos. We're gonna find out that something wrong with igloo.
I don't even know if igloo is legit. Is that really a thing? Well, this sugar cube thing we've been seeing all this time.
I type in Eskimo, and the second thing that comes up on the autofill is Eskimo Brothers.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the Inuits. That's one. I think that's one particular tribe.
Inuit brothers
of the
Let's just stick with Wiener Cousins.
Of the indigenous people of Alaska.
Eskimo Brothers is a term that refers to men who have had sex with the same partner at different points in time. They can sometimes be considered offensive.
What's the woman's equivalent to that? Eskimo sisters?
Sausage sisters?
I like sausage sisters better.
The term Eskimo Brothers was popularized by the second episode of the American TV sitcom The League. The character Taco, played by John LaJoy, describes the concept when two guys had sex with the same girl to his friends, showing how he can get favors like free drinks at the bar from his fellow Eskimo brothers. On the league, Eskimo brothers share a fraternal bond. LaJoy told Esquire in 2014 that when he saw the term in the script, he thought it was a thing that was out in the world. I Googled it and nothing came up. And Google Trends shows little interest in the phrase until 2009, right after the episode aired. LaJoy later learned that it was the league creator Jeff Schaefer's creation. Schaefer, for his part, said he took the phrase itself from writer Billy Kimball back in 1992, but wasn't sure what Kimball was referring to at the time, so Schaefer lightly describes credit for the term's current meaning. On a more literal note, some Inuit and Aleutian peoples have been described as practicing limited and organized forms of spouse exchange, which led to a misconception that Inuit men lent their wives freely, but it does not appear that the creators or the cast of the league were aware of or alluding to this fact. Throughout the league's run, Taco continued to make reference to and expand on the concept, even proposing to build an Eskimo Brothers database. The idea has actually even been turned into a real app that connects you to your Facebook and claims to help you find your Eskimo brothers. LaJoy also wrote and recorded a song and music video titled Eskimo Brothers that explains the concept through a number of euphemisms like fishing in the same hole. Fans of the show even gone so far as to tell the actors about their own Eskimo brothers. The term's popularity led to articles on sports and popular culture websites. Ranker.com has a list of celebrity Eskimo brother pairs that includes Leonardo DiCaprio and Ryan Reynolds, Joe DiMaggio and John F. Kennedy, Mark Anthony and Julius Caesar, and in a bit of a stretch, Kermit the Frog and Josh Groban, who appeared as Miss Piggy's love interest in an episode of the 2015 Muppets TV show.
God, the show was so good.
Similarly, Top Bet, a sports betting site, published a chart titled
Disney Plus.
The League of Athletic Eskimo Brothers, detailing the interconnected relationships of athletes and celebrities. The phrase reached a wider audience in July 2015 when one contestant on the reality show The Bachelorette mentioned that another contestant was his Eskimo brother, indicating that the fictional in-joke had been taken up by a wider mainstream audience. Google Trends shows the search interest in the phrase peaked in July 2015.
Yeah.
There's like another paragraph, but we don't have to get any more into it.
You know what? I might be float out. I'm gonna float out there because I've always wanted something I came up with to be part of the lexicon.
Yeah.
How about instead? Let me throw this out there. It doesn't have to bite. Taco twins.
I appreciate it. I'll allow for that.
We'll try. We'll give it a try.
All right.
I didn't know gypsy was a slur until recently either.
Claim it like LeBron did Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Twin Tuesday.
I wanted him to lose that claim just out of principle.
It's okay.
That motherfucker, you didn't come up with Taco Tuesday.
He didn't come up with it, but he was smart enough to,
I'm never gonna knock him.
I respect the hustle.
Shoot, I get it.
Yeah.
That was one shot I was happy he missed.
But
he must have submitted it like a free throw. Clank.
So how did my big fat gypsy wedding? How did that become okay? Because they said it's mine and it's the actual gypsy saying.
I thought it was My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
No. There's a reality TV show about reminding people of getting married and Romany. Forgive me, Romany. Romany people getting married.
Well, isn't gypsy an actual type of people?
The Romany people were referred to as gypsies, and gypsies, just like Eskimos, it turns out, is a pejorative phrase, and was used by people for, with ill intent, and that's why we know them to be the Romany people, and that's why gyp itself is supposed to be a bad word. You know what I'm saying? Because it's from gypsy.
That is something I've learned throughout the makings of us doing this podcast.
Yes.
It's like it's all these. It's again. Look, we can just leap back in time to the beginning of this episode. Empathy. I'm not saying. I guess on one level, I am saying to you, fucking check yourself. And try to be better about how you talk about other people. I realize it's kind of fucked up. I've been saying Eskimo bro for years, bro. I can't say it anymore.
Taco Twins is fun.
Maybe consider not saying it anymore, or consider trying to better it, like my man Gabe just did here. You know what I'm saying?
Come up with your own.
Yeah, Make something of your own as opposed to trying to just like ride out with this racialized turn of phrase. My mama said Oriental today, and it fucked me up a little bit. She used it in the correct term. She was talking about decorative items, but it still fucked me up when I heard. I was like, what the fuck?
I heard Jim Ross say it on AEW's broadcast the other day.
Yeah.
But then I saw him like catch himself and try and like shift to something else.
Yeah.
But he definitely said it.
Got backlash from it, but he also got a lot of apologists. I mean, I guess I guess I shouldn't get mad. To bring this back full circle, I shouldn't get mad at apologists because apologists come naturally with backlash. If there's going to be someone upset about it, there's going to be someone like, well, hold on a second, white footballs. But
a thing that doesn't
exist
and will never exist unless you really want to get real inventive with the sport. I mean, like on a snowy ass day and a white football, that could make it for a fun situation.
Yeah, apparently, like I didn't even know there were internet articles about it. I was just watching the show because I watched it last night, and I caught it on DVR. And yeah, Jim Ross sparks controversy after accidental remark during AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
Let's see, the one lady performer, she dresses up like Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
And his quote was, "Freddie Mercury never looked so oriental, ... Asian, ... female."
So the reality of it is this.
He slipped.
He saw it.
Tried to fix it.
And tried to correct himself.
Yeah.
I think that's a fucking big deal. I think that should be where you go, oh, you saw what you did wrong. And you tried to course correct immediately. Not, you know what I'm saying, not after a little, not you didn't wait till a couple of days and try to fix the problem. You're like, oh no, that was wrong immediately. And he fucking recognized it and keep it moving. If like I said, it fucked me up because I hadn't heard the term Oriental in forever. But my mother was indeed talking about a particular piece of furniture in her home.
That is right. Like when I hear it in the proper context, I have to like, hold on a second. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't...
To go over it in my mind.
Yeah. It literally caught my breath. I was like, oh wait a minute, that is right.
I would like to name the top 5 things I've learned during the course of... or should I save this for an anniversary type episode?
Yeah, man. Every time we do this is pretty much a dope anniversary.
So here's a couple things. One, that the supposed quote-unquote Indian man from Short Circuit was doing brownface.
Yep. Fisher Stevens.
Yes. That fucked me up.
Uncle Phil being Shredder fucked my mans up over here.
Still shook to this day.
That's the favorite moment of the podcast. Oh man, I forgot her name. The Asian... yeah, I said it right. Asian porn star. I'm so unsure of myself. Asian porn star who had her rectum pulled out. I learned about that.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
I didn't know about that until this podcast.
It was pulled out rather than it just fell out. It was Anna Devine.
Yeah, that's right.
So I remember when she offered to sleep with all the Cavs to get LeBron to stay. The first time.
How was that? Wait, he's just...
She offered to have sex with everyone on the Cavs if LeBron stayed. Or they won the championship. It was something...
Oh, okay.
It was some incentive for the Cavs to do something, and she would have sex with the whole team. This was a while ago.
Angelina Castro and Sarah J offered to suck off the Heat if they won a championship.
I do remember something to that effect, yes.
Continue your list.
That Hydrox came first. Going back to that very same episode.
Really?
I didn't know Hydrox came first.
No, I didn't realize that was the same episode. I'm like, God damn. You and your...
That was a journey, that episode. Where am I at? I'm at... That was 3.
Yeah, 2 more, yeah.
I got 2 more. Okay.
These were in no particular order.
These no particular order, and I should have came more prepared.
Don't worry. When I edit it, you'll be like, oh, he really came to those naturally and quickly. The magic in the editing room, sir.
Learned that Catman Stevens was dead. Not Catman Stevens. Catman's Scatman Crothers. I'm a little tired because
Catman Stevens died. Like Yusuf Islam, right? It's his name now.
Right? Bop, bop, meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.
I'm the Scat Man.
No, Scatman Crothers.
Yeah.
A man who...
Hong Kong Fooey himself. Man.
Why did I still think he was alive until I started doing this podcast? I don't know, because he's going to be in his hundreds by now. I mean, he was like old as shit during The Shining.
He was old as shit when we were children, yes. So there's no way he... not no way, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. He could be, whatever.
He lives on in your heart.
Yeah.
He does.
There you go.
He
Hong Kong Fooey. I don't know the rest of that theme song, so...
Number one superstar.
Oh, thank you.
And that's
Just remember he was a janitor, and then, did Kung Fu.
What movie was that?
Huh?
What movie was that? He was a janitor in?
No, I thought...
Hong Kong Fooey.
Hong Kong Fooey.
Oh, no. He played a janitor getting high in some movie, and I can't remember what movie that was.
Oh, it was the one with Scott Baio, and Scott Baio had zapped. He had telekinetic powers, and he used them to take off women's clothing.
Man, Scott Baio has not aged well as a person.
No, and not looks-wise, not personality-wise, not views-wise.
Yeah.
One more. What is my fifth favorite thing I learned during the course of this podcast? A variation of that list from what is it? What was it? Esquire? Was it Cosmopolitan about like bringing forks and baseballs into the room for sex games? I learned that there are people doing that.
Oh, shit.
You guys got anything?
It goes down.
Did you on the last episode I told T about the Twitter decade thing?
Oh, bro, it's all good. We just were talking about it in the car. So one, I found a lot of things to be amused about on that thing, but one in particular came out that he and I were talking about was the harshness of that Pusha T diss on Drake in the story of Adnan, which came up in those memories of like Twitter. There's a Twitter hashtag decade of Twitter, I think, or Twitter this decade or some such. It's just a laugh fucking riot. It seriously has been just a joy to go back and see things over the years.
It's like opening a time capsule on your phone.
Exactly what it is. And like somebody had brought up the story Adnan, which was Pusha T's Drake diss song, and Gabe and I, of course, went down a hole on diss tracks, but that particular one was just so goddamn hard that you just sit there like that cat. What the hell saying? That gif with the cat holding his palm to his mouth, like, because that shit, you are hiding a child. Like he just said that in a rap song. You are hiding a child. Like, oh, that. Let me tell you, the good eating about that is to go back and watch the YouTube videos, because people did react videos to that song, right? And many people were like, I heard this already, but I want her to hear it for the first time, or him to hear it for the first time. And they'd be sitting there like, you see the shock wash over them when Pusha T raps about these things. So like, you want to talk about my fiance? Let them know who you chose as your Beyonce. It's hilarious. That song is so fucking good and so mean. So mean. One of the greatest rap disses of all time. And it, of course, showed up in the decade of Twitter the hashtag. And it was just a delight to see it there. So,
speaking of Twitter, I had a pretty good tweet about diss tracks. That the only person who liked it was this gentleman sitting next to me, Tayro. But I thought it was hilarious. Somebody asked, what's the best diss tracks of all time? And I said, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Funny, right? Well, if you're listening to this right now, go through my Twitter history and go ahead and like and retweet that, because I need that
that validation.
That validation. That's the word I was looking for.
That's all right. That is all right.
Twitter moments of the decade.
Twitter moments of the decade. That shit is the gift that keeps on giving, and you gonna find some things that you forgot happened. I didn't even know about that one with the lady at the scroller. Because she said that, I was like, damn, that bitch, I hope she got her scroller back, because that she was mad about it. I saw the lady, oh Lord Jesus of Fire.
Oh yeah, and then the I'd always seen the memes of the woman in the prison with the weave, where she's like,
oh that,
yeah, that,
yeah.
Look. And then I saw this one the other day.
What it is? What's up? What's up? Got your nigga in the cup. Goddamn. What it is? What it is?
It's like a video of like a homeless lady just wrapping it up with some dude.
That wasn't wasn't bad actually. I was like,
Oh yeah, fucking Key and Peele. Aaron.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Macy's is for broke bitches.
I got these from Macy's.
And Macy's is for broke bitches.
Nigga, I seen your mama at Macy's.
You ain't seen my mother.
Hey, Macy's had the Mark Anthony J-Lo collection. What the hell?
Oh,
Man, why the fuck you lie?
lying.
Why you always lying?
Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. My shit for that one is when it's the little kid and they sing it at school and the one kid goes, stop fucking lying. And the teacher's going like this to him, like, come on, man. That particular video has become its own like meme. That shit is like, that's dope, man. Oh god.
Is there going to be a award for this or
No, it's just a hashtag
Okay.
that showed up. Everybody's talking about how this is the end of a decade. You know what I'm saying?
It is the end of a decade.
We've wrapped up another 10-year period here in the 2000s, and
I'm getting old.
folk are reminiscing and discussing about stuff, and it's like it's just the life. This has been the decade of social media in reality. You know what I'm saying? This is when we really locked it down. I know we had MySpace back in the day, but this is the one where social media became the thing. I
Do you think
truly want to delete my Facebook, but I also know I can't delete my Facebook. It's too much shit hooked into it, so forth and so on. And I know I should. I know they're an evil corporation, but
Mark Zuckerberg.
goddamn, he's a fucking trash heap, man.
I think the most important thing at the end of this decade.
The fucking gold dress.
Oh,
thing?
I remember that shit.
I never did. I mean, bro, it's like right there.
It's blue and black.
To me, it's gold and white.
Are you joking?
No,
It's gold and white.
it looks gold and white to me. Yeah, 100% serious.
Maybe because I'm seeing blue and black.
Crank, what's your brightness at? I don't know. Just in case.
Ah,
I'm in the middle.
All right, we're gonna go all the way up. All the way up. It looks blue and when you did that, it's blue and black now. Swear to God, when you crank the brightness up, it's blue and black.
I still see gold and white.
That is wild to me.
Yeah.
He turned his brightness up and it immediately changed colors. Holy shit!
Yeah, I swear to God,
Oh,
that's
God.
gold and white.
so
to
this
me.
will never be resolved.
Wow.
But I think the most important.
And now it's blue and black. It's blue and black to me.
It's-
That is insane. When he first showed it to me, it was gold and white, clear as day. Wow, that's gonna bother me.
What's my train of thought? Oh, I said the most important question at the end of this decade. The most important question at the end of this decade is: will people still be saying 2020,
God,
or will they be saying 2020?
you know how much that makes me insane. I say,
heard that, Father.
I say 2019. I have been saying 20 because the whole time we said 19, whatever. Why all of a sudden just flip it to say the whole thing now because we crossed over?
Well, in Spanish they do say the whole thing. They said 2020.
Oh well, vente because it's just vente. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nope.
They don't say 2020.
Diez y nueve, and so forth. Yeah. No, is it Diez y nueve?
Well, yeah, it is.
It is.
Nueve.
Okay, I was like, is there another way to say that? I'm sure there is.
But they don't say 2019. They say 2019.
So the whole thing, it's 2,000.
Yeah.
2 mil.
Mil is 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
For you non-Spanish speaking bastards out there. I'm sorry.
I mean, it really was kind of self-evident. Well, we gonna wrap it up, man. I got it.
I'm out of jokes.
My mom at the house. Well, she at the house. She actually got a hotel this time. She's staying up the road from that.
This one was good.
Oh, that Golden Girls, play that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Travel down the road, back again.
So we started from the bottom, now we're here.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Pal and a
I've never seen this before.
This is my part right here.
I've never seen this before.
Hallelujah.
That there is good eating, people. We out here, man. We do this every week. I promise you, we really do. I have not missed one. We out here winning every goddamn week since 2012. Yeah, that's right. And we ain't missing because we bank episodes, and it'd be very difficult for me not to get one of these episodes out. Oh, that Tony Hawk one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a delight. Thanks for pausing. You know what I'm saying? But make sure you rate, review, and share the show everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Let people know what we doing out here and why you enjoy it. Because, you know what I'm saying, if you do that, then they do that. You know what I'm saying? If I tweet, if you go to Stay Searching Milk every week, I am trying my best to make sure I got a fresh pinned tweet up there. Hit that bitch, retweet it for me. You retweeting it for me, I'm telling you right now, literally moves the needle. Your one retweet could get me 6-10 downloads. You know what I'm saying? 6 to 10 downloads. That's hot. That's you having a lot of control over this fucking show's ability to be seen and listened to by more people. That'd be real dope for you. We have a merch store up, T Public Shop. You know what I'm saying? Have some dope stuff on it. Me and Vanessa have been sitting around. Vanessa, you know, the fabulous Miss X, as my man Ant calls her. Been sitting around coming up with some other merch ideas. I'm considering trying to come up with a "You Used to Be Beautiful" as a shirt. But I don't know how we're going to do that. So if you got any ideas, gentlemen, y'all let me know. But there's merch up there right now, and feel free to go ahead and rock it like so. Make sure, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, holler at us. I'm saying we out here in these Twitter streets. We doing the damn thing. Our missing man this week is Tatum216. He is not often on Twitter, but he is on there enough that if you showed him love, he'd see it and most likely respond. That's Lunchbox 2099.
Yep.
That is the real ODP.
Validate me on Twitter so I know I'm funny.
I am and have been and shall be the internet's Tayrel713. You've just been podcasting and know you loved it. Peace.
Hey, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful.